What's been going on? Let's talk about that. Life has just been lifing, and I did not ask for it to life like this. Growing up, what? Honestly, being in your 20s is it's a lot. It's a lot. They don't talk about it, but it's a lot. It's summer, hot girl summer. We know you're out in them streets wearing hoochie daddy shorts. If you're listening to this right now, you're a real one. A real one. The realest. So today, I want to talk about parents. What's up, you guys? It's your girl Panache. Can you tell I'm excited? Can you tell I'm hyped? I am so happy, excited to be here talking to y'all. You guys, you have no idea. I mean, you have an idea how long it's been, but you have no idea how much I've been missing y'all. I've missed this so much. I've literally felt like I'm missing part of myself because this is me. This is my purpose. This is what I'm called to do and what I feel good doing. So not getting to do that for a long time hurts. It hurts. It deprives me of purpose. So I'm so happy to be back. Thank you for listening right now. I appreciate it so much. If you're listening to this right now, you're a real one. A real one. The realest. The realest. Because there really ain't nobody like you. So yeah, I'm excited to be back. I'm coming in alone. Terry's not here, who is usually my co-host, but I figured for season 2, we can switch it up a little bit. Sometimes I'll have a different co-host. Sometimes I'll have Terry here. Sometimes it'll just be me, because why not? You can get to know me more. If you vibe with me, you can really be like, wow, I know her more. And she wasn't just relying on someone else to speak. We are going to title this like as a catch-up episode, like what's been going on. Let's talk about that. What's been going on with you guys? I'm going to share a little bit of what's been going on with me. Life has just been lifing, and I did not ask for it to life like this. Growing up, what? So I've just been dealing with the usual, just work, school. Yeah, believe it or not, still studying. If you know me, you know that I graduated from university about 2 years ago now. So yeah, time does fly. Let's just say a year and a half ago, because who wants to be that old? So I graduated from university, and then I'm currently pursuing higher education, as they call it, higher studies, and working full time. So that's a lot, And my work, we have super busy seasons, which is usually from, let's just say, March to about April or May. And then soon after, I started my next course for school. So yeah, I really did not have time. I was like, who is this? I was just like waking up, doing the job that needs to be done each day. I barely felt like myself. But I'm glad that I'm back to a place where I feel like myself, a place where I just feel comfortable being me and doing the things that I love. My podcast! You really have no idea how much I love this. So I'm happy, and I don't even like talking like that. It's just, I just love showing up at a space that I created, working towards my growth. So yeah, and basically just now at a point where it's summer, hot girl summer. We know you're out in them streets wearing hoochie daddy shorts. If you haven't heard about hoochie daddy shorts, just Google it. For the guys wearing hoochie daddy shorts, girls enjoying hot girl summer. Unfortunately, I don't get hot girl summer because I have to be indoors, studying. But it's okay. It's okay. I will get hot girl summer eventually, and then the money will be coming. So I will have money to spend and actually travel and do stuff. As for now, I'm very humble. But I am happy it's summer because I love summer, and summer where there's bay. I've been listening to a lot of Tiny Desks, and okay, random. My top three Tiny Desks. Let's say Alicia Keys. Yes, I really liked Alicia Keys' Tiny Desk, and Tiana Major 9. I loved her Tiny Desk. And the other one is a close tie between. Okay, if you're listening to Asha's Tiny Desk, you know the one where that meme, watch this, came from? That was bomb too. I like that, but it's not in my top three. I loved Maverick City's Tiny Desk. That was amazing. So I would say Maverick City is probably my third. Okay, this is hard because I really liked my Sego's Tiny Desk as well. So here you are getting top five because why choose when it's a free country? Kirk Franklin's Tiny Desk is bomb too. So yeah, if you like music, if you want something chill, check out Tiny Desk because it's good. It's good. It's good vibes. So yeah, that's catch up. If I think of anything else, I'll randomly say it. I'll randomly let you guys know. Okay, so today I want to talk about parents. Okay, or our relationship with our parents. And trust me, this is not me coming to say I know everything because I honestly don't think my personal relationship with my parents is like great. Trust me. I think it's ever growing and evolving, especially at this point where even I'm still trying to like figure out myself. I'm still trying to figure out my own routine, and I'm still trying to fit all these roles. Well, I don't even have a lot right now, but just study, work, be like a great person, a human being. Just honestly being in your 20s is it's a lot. It's a lot. They don't talk about it, but it's a lot. There's a lot of change going on. Firstly, last year when I graduated, I just felt so overwhelmed. It just felt like a lot of new changes. Firstly, I moved out of my college dorms, and then I was suddenly living alone. Boom. Whoa. I'd been staying in a room alone in my dorms, but now I was separated from all the other students. At least then I was around like a community of other students, but now I was suddenly alone. I was staying in a basement suite, you guys. It was super cozy, super cute, and all that. But there were no windows in that place. There was one window, and it barely lets light in. So yeah, basement suites here, it doesn't mean like underground. It just means like, on the down low in the basement. So it wasn't really underground. There could be like a little light that could come in, but there was a very limited window of light just because of the positioning of the room, right? So I was staying in a basement suite. It was tiny. I couldn't work from home because I need sunshine. I love the sunshine. I'm that person who goes outside and I'm like, I'm so grateful the sun is out today because I just love it. So I needed that. Now that I moved out, I know that I definitely needed that. But for the time, it was cool. I was paying very small little rent, so that was great. I got a chance to save some money, so I didn't have to stress about bills. So I was basically just paying rent, and it covered pretty much everything else, like electricity, water, and internet. So it was super good. I think it was a great first start. So yeah, so 20s are overwhelming. There's a lot of change. So I moved out, started a new job. Thank God. The best thing is that the job, I was returning to a place where I did my internship during university. So I knew the people, and I had done a little bit of the job, and I was just going to start like as a full-time employee. So that was great. But the problem is that when you're starting as a new employee or as a new person, or in just a new environment, you have this pressure on yourself to perform really, really well. And to make matters worse, I'm just that perfectionist. Like, for in terms of imposter syndrome, I'm a perfectionist, which is not always great. So eventually we're gonna talk about imposter syndrome. I have the perfectionist syndrome, so I want to be always perfect. That also kind of ties to just growing up. I think I'm the firstborn. There was just a standard that's always set on you. And in terms of school, my parents never really like put pressure for me to be good, but there was also this um underneath written thing that, hey, so the dreams of the family are on you. So yeah, you better get these A's so that we can send you to university. So I would put pressure on myself to do good. So it came to a point where, initially your parents are asking you, where's that 10%, right? When you get 90% out of 100. And then eventually you are the one who's asking yourself, hey, where's that 10%? So it get to a point where for some exams I'll be like, yeah, this exam is hard, God. I just want to pass. And then when I pass and I pass by like 80%, I'm going like, hey, where's that 20%? So I always have this moving target on myself. I always want to be the best, the next best version. I'm never just content with where I am. So that was a lot, dealing with just a lot of change that was going on, and I felt like I wasn't catching up fast enough, right? So I remember when I started going back to work, I wanted to do so good. I wanted to kill it. I was like, you know what? I've done this before. I'm pretty sure I can do it. So I'm going to ace it. I'm going to be the best version. And then life humbles you. Things humble you real quick. Then you realize, yeah, no, I don't know a lot. I do not. So I had to realize that I was in a stage of learning. Something that I read. I think this is really good. It gave me perspective in a time where I was putting unnecessary pressure on myself. So it said, when I first started on Wall Street, one of my managers said something to me that has stuck for 20 plus years. When you start out, you're being paid to learn. To learn, panache, learn. Not to be perfect, not to be getting everything correct, but to learn. Then after about 5 years, you are paid for what you know. After 5 years, what you know. That's when I think it's like manager level, You're calling the shots, you're making decisions. And so now, I'm gonna learn. And I love learning. I actually do love learning, especially when I'm not being quizzed on it or having to do a test and being tested. I like learning. And then after about 5 years, you're paid for what you know. Somewhere in your 30s, you start getting paid for who you know. Socializing. Importance of it actually has to start, building that social portfolio of people and connections that you know. So I definitely have to start that. You start small, start by knowing a few co-workers who leave, and then you keep in touch, that kind of thing. So just going for events during work and all of that. So yeah, that gave me perspective and it made me relax. I remember this one time I was at work, and I've never had a panic attack, but now looking back, I think it was a panic attack. It was just something strange that happened. So I was at work, I was sitting down. It was early in the morning on a Friday, like around pretty much probably around 9, 8, and I started work at 8. So it was very early on in my day. And I just got so overwhelmed. I started telling myself that I cannot do this. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Like, I'm such a fraud. Imposter syndrome, full on, right? And I felt it all. I was crushed. And I didn't understand where it was coming from, because for me, it just felt like it was really coming out of nowhere. It was really, really coming out of nowhere. And I thought I'd started my day great, So it was probably just a bunch of things that were building up over the last couple of days. But my mind was under attack, and it freaked me out later, right? So I just wore headphones. I started playing like these affirmations from YouTube, and then it calmed me down. But for the rest of the day, I was afraid that, oh my gosh, what if that happens again? Because I felt like I couldn't control it, and I just hated being in that space of fear. So I say all of that to say there's a lot going on in your 20s. By the way, I started meditating. I meditate almost every day, especially if it's a weekday. It's part of my routine. I meditate, and I just started, just being more mindful of my thoughts, speaking positive, trying to be in control of my thoughts as much as I can. So yeah, and just being more aware about what imposter syndrome is has helped me identify situations where I'm like, yo, so this is imposter syndrome talking. If I'm ever like, I don't belong here, what am I even doing here? What is a 23-year-old doing sitting in a company with CEOs? Or what's a 23-year-old doing sitting in a meeting with the partner? Like, do I even know what I'm saying? I'm like, calm down. You're in this room for a reason. So that's helped me a lot. So I say all of that to say there's a lot going on. 20s are the worst. Lots of change. You're just trying to figure out life. You're trying to manage your relationships. You're trying to grow in your relationships. You're trying to be a better person. And sometimes you just don't have the strength to be a better person, trying to be a better daughter, trying to be a better sister, trying to be a good employee, and you've never been an employee before. You're trying to be perfect, to be a perfect friend. You're trying, and you haven't figured out what's the routine, what's the catch, how do I do this, how do I make it happen? That happens a lot in teenage years as well. So, I'm just in my 20s, so I have the ability to sort of zoom out sometimes and be like, okay, what's going on? So to go back to where we started, I asked a question on my Instagram, and I said, do you feel like your parents don't understand what you are going through? And guys, like, the results surprised me, but also didn't really surprise me. But they were also really, really sad, because 67% of people said no, they don't feel like their parents understand them. And that's sad, because it's hard. It's hard to feel not understood, number one, in general, but it's hard not to feel understood by the people who you would think should understand you the most, right? Because they're your parents. They've watched you grow. They know you to your core. They know you. They do. Sometimes we think they don't know us, but they do. They do. They know you. They understand you. They've seen you grow, and they're supposed to be that safe space, right? That safe space, because they're your parents. So it's hard when I see people say they don't feel understood. And honestly, like, sometimes even I do feel like they don't understand, but I also realize that I do not give them the opportunity to understand, because I do not communicate. So kudos to those people who are best friends with their parents, and they know how to communicate their emotions, because that's something I'm still learning. Not just being best friends with my parents, but I'm still learning how to communicate my feelings and emotions, period, even to myself. So how can I communicate them to someone else when I can't communicate them to myself, right? It probably starts with the parents. That's my opinion. I've never been a parent, not to put pressure on parents, but I think it should start with the parents. Just them being honest and transparent with us, the kids, to be like, hey, so I know you're going through your 20s right now. I know you're going through your teenage years right now. To be honest, we all got that teenage years lecture, but I don't think we got it in a way that, you know, that helped us go like, oh yeah, my parents have been through this, so I should probably talk to them. It was more like in a sense of, I'm watching you and I know what you're thinking because I've been there. And that probably made us pull away more than to bring us closer. I think the conversation should be like, it's like when the parents have like the sex talk. The way you approach it will either push your kid away or to make them go like, hey mom, let me be honest with you. So yeah, my boyfriend and I were thinking of like having sex. So it's the approach, definitely the approach that you talk to your kids in, but just being transparent to be like, hey, so in my teenage years I got in some trouble too. In my teenage years, this and that happened. So that you're not coming in from a perspective of being a stranger, but you're coming in from a perspective of, hey, so I have made this mistake because I did this. Like, parents don't want to be telling us what they did, and then their parents, our grandparents, will come to us and be like, yeah, your mother was all about that, your mother was all about that, but they're trying to act all perfect when you were not. But this is not attacking parents. I'm just saying the approach makes a huge difference. Because if you come to me and be like, yo, so when I was your age, I also got caught by my parents doing this and it was not great. Or when I was your age, I had a kid or I had you. And look at my life now. It turned out great, but there were also a lot of things I had to go through that I want to protect you from. So that the honesty side of it helps. Just be more open with us as your kids. Let us know that you are human. I'm that person who loves listening more than I like talking. So if you create a space for me to listen to you, I'm probably going to talk. What can we do as kids? Because at the end of the day, we are the kids, right? I think just creating more opportunities to hang out with our parents in spaces where it's not necessarily just parent child kind of relationship, but there's also a little bit of some friendship to it. We just hang out, just go bowling, just eat some food. I think it's a two-way street, definitely, but the biggest role starts with the parents because there's not going to be a sudden switch when you're a teenager from what you grew up seeing or what you grew up experiencing. It has to start somewhere, but it has to start with the person who sets it. Like the parents set the tone. So, guys, I hope we navigate this and I hope we can be besties with our parents. Thank you for listening to me ramble on. I'm happy to be back and I promise I'm going to do better at this. I'm going to do better at just being consistent with the podcast episodes and being consistent to show up to you all, and you can get to know a lot more about me. I hope you listen to this and you're like, wow, I like that girl. Or if you don't, that's okay too. That's alright. Thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. I post more on my Instagram, so follow us on Instagram at Brew You Pour, and just continue to join us along this journey. Love you. Bye.